Bonjour Watcher, this is Johnny Mega 45 and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. Last episode we have heard Cockroach and also Nightmare. So what's going to happen next? I also have no idea. I forgot about it, but I heard some accident happened. Now listen. A breakdown song. Or is there some way I can help you? I can't figure this out alone. Amane.
そっか知られちゃったか。じゃあ仕方がないよね。
What is that? Amane?
私立滝園学園1年 A 組バスケ部所属風見和樹。もちろん知ってるよね。
Of course.
あの時8月14日バスケットボール部の夏合宿の帰り道、彼女を含む14人を乗せたマイクロバスは忽然と姿を消した。世に言う滝園学園マイクロバス転落事故。私はその14人の中の唯一の生き残りよ。
Are you serious?
こんなことで嘘は言わないよ。
My elder sister, Kazami Kazuki. When she disappeared, it destroyed my family. And the one girl who lived through that disaster was Amane. That's your past?
うん、そう。私はユージのお姉さんと同級生だった。
Why? Why did you?
ごめん、言えなかったんだよ。ユージが転入してきた時、風見ユージって名前を聞いた時、すぐに気がついたんだけど言えなかった。
Well, of course she couldn't. I'm the family Kazuki left behind. It must have been a complete bombshell. There's no way you'll be able to figure out a situation like that on the spur of the moment. I see. Yeah, makes sense.
あの時のことはユージも知ってるよね。
Yeah, the general picture at least. August 14, years and years ago, on the way back from the camp training at the Kaigato Academy bus, baseball team schools bus punctured off a cliff. An extensive search was abandoned in failure 40 days after the girls disappeared. By the end, single survivor managed to find her own way to safety. It was a widely reported incident at the time. It's hard to believe that was Amane. That lone survivor was a major focus of media attention for some time after the fact. Speculation gave rise to rumors, maybe outlets questioned the means by which that single guy survived the cruel order that claimed the lives of her classmates. It must be the extreme and shocking news self. The lone survivor was subject to vicious gossip on television and frame. They did stop short of publishing a name, probably out of legal concerns rather than ethical one. Television shows exploit footage of the weeping families as a backdrop for lurid gossip about the deaths of their children. Tabloid magazines publish vivid, unsourced descriptions of hellish conditions, using loaded questionnaires and innuendos to suggest that a girl had survived only by becoming something less than human. Among these, some articles even discuss the interpersonal dynamics of the doomed teams, their relationships. And you are that lone survivor.
急な告白でびっくりしていると思うし、私が何を言ってもずる賢く生き残った女狐の言い訳にしか聞こえないと思う。ちょっと待ってもらえる？ユージに見せたいものがあるから。
What? I want to release my hero and then 10 long minutes before she returns. I spent a few moments trying to piece together my scrambled thoughts. What the hell is this? When I arrived, Amane had already been here for a good year. Of course, Principal Tachibana and myself known everything. She knew about all this and didn't say a word, just left me. I wanted to sort it out for ourselves. I know she has that non-interference policy, but this feels more like negligence. And there's Sakaki too. She looked into all of our backgrounds. She obviously knew the facts, and she didn't say a damn word. Hold on, calm down, consider this from their perspective, what would I have done in their shoes. Yeah, I don't think I could have acted differently. It's too sensitive a problem. The two of us are the only ones that can resolve they were wrong to act as they did. And if I was Amane's shoes, if a relative or classmate who died while I lived transferred to my school, could I have told the truth in that moment straight out? I really don't think so. Had I been in Amane's position, I would have waited slowly, still my resolve, trying to find the right moment to confess the truth. That's right, I don't have the right to blame Amane. I would have made the same decision myself. And to tell the truth now, after everything that happened between us, must have taken an incredible amount of courage on her part. She's downright admirable. Rather than thinking about whether I can blame her, maybe I should be taking a look at myself. That just shatters Amane's peace of mind out of more than a hypocritical curiosity. I
ごめん、お待たせ。これを見て。
Amane holds out a bitter old notebook towards me. The dates written on the cover a few months of that summer. This is your...
あの日の日記帳だよ。そこに全てのことが書いてある。
Are you sure about this?
ユージにはそれを読む権利があると思うから。
Alright, I will read it.
その日記帳の18ページ目からがあの遭難事故の直後に書かれた日記に該当するわ。
That summer, August 14. I lowered my gaze to the diary. Each page is well worn from Amane's hands. She's clearly read it many times. The contents of the pages left me staggered. Okay, it's flashback time. It's freaking flashback time. When I opened my eyes, I was in darkness. I couldn't see a thing. I blinked repeatedly and slowly counted to 10, but that didn't change. I couldn't tell if my surroundings were really dark or if my eyes were working. In the blackness so deep I couldn't see the palm of my hands in front of my face. I heard mourning voices from all around me. Painfully hacking out screams of agony, my ears, at the least, were functional. As I repeated quietly, calming breaths, the scene of gasoline tickled my nose, and with a stimulation of haze of confusion lifted slightly, and I remembered that I was inside a bus. Groping around my surroundings, I regularly realized that I was lying on top of something soft. When I tried to sit up, I hit my head sharply against the seat. I reached out to my eyes to check if my glasses had been knocked crotch, only to discover that they were on my face in the first place. I groped around there frantically. Again, my hands found something strangely soft and warm. It was the heat of a living day. I realized it with a start that I was touching another first. I reflexed to jerk my hand back.
気がついた？はい。
Is that you, Kazuki?
動けるようなら私の上から降りてほしいのだけれど。ごめんなさい。
When I understand that someone was spying under my body, I found in search of a foothold, but the floor with my feet were searching what wasn't there.
気をつけて。今はこのバス、天井が壁だから。天井が壁？そう。床も壁。そして今まで壁だったものが、今は床と天井。まあ、そうね。簡単に言えば横転しているのよ。横転。
As I repeated that word out of loud in an attempt to process its meaning, further understanding of the situation flooded into my mind. This was the inside of a school bus. On the way back from our summer training camp, our bus had fallen off a cliff with us still inside. どうでもいいけれど、早く移動してくださらない？さっきからあなた、私の左腕を踏んでいるのだけれど。ごめんなさい。痛いわよ。不用意に動かないで。ごめんなさい。あなた、それ口癖？後で殴るときに呼び出すから、名前を教えなさい。ごめんなさい。Your name is not ごめんなさい。冗談よ。私は風見和樹。あなたは？ Oh。そうです。スオ、あまね。ああ、スオさんね。名前と容姿は知っているけど、お話しするのは初めてね。はい、はじめまして。敬語はいいわ。私も同じ1年生だし。それと、できれば挨拶は後にして、さっさと私の上から降りてくださる？痛くて涙が出てきたわ。ごめんなさい。5回目。いい？ごめんなさいって言葉は、口にすればするほど言葉の価値が下がるのよ。次にごめんなさいって言ったら怒るわよ。じゃないわよ。いいから左にどきなさい。
ごめんなさい。舌打ちしないで謝るから。
I knew the name Kazami Kazuki. It was the name of the top income student, the girl who been chosen as our class representative to deliver the greeting speech at our entrance ceremony this spring. Kazuki sounded like a boy's name, and the girl herself apparently somewhat absent-minded, always walking around with a sleepy look on her face. And there was something about her that suggested the cool sharpness of a blade. We belonged to the same basketball team and participated in the training camp together, but I had sheered away from the foreboding aura she projected, and in the end we hadn't spoke so much at once during the trip. The interior of the bus was scattered with debris, and every footholds were unsettled by Kazumi Kazuki, quickly crawled her way through and dragging her out of the shattered windows and turned back to offer her hand to me.
ほら、手を出しなさい。ありがとう。どうやらなんとか助かったようね。はい、メガネ。あなたのでしょ？
Oh, Kazuki. Yeah, this is Yuji's One-chan.
ありがとう。
Amane, why you look like that, Amane? And there's a reason why Amane take off her glasses. And why you wear glasses? The moment I replaced the glasses on my hair, I drew a harsh breath at the side of the bus we had been riding in. The roof was smashed, the windows all broken, the vehicles were completely overturned. It's barely exposed. White smoke was pouring from the area of the still active engine. We need to get away fast or we'll be in danger. At this rate, that thing might explode. As the fear ran through my mind, Kazami Kazuki glanced briefly at my face with her usual sleepy expression, then snorted lightly.
大丈夫よ。こういった事故で車が爆発するのは映画の中だけだから安心しなさい。どうして私が考えていることが分かったの？煙を上げるエンジンを見ながら泣きそうな顔しているあなたを見れば子供にでも分かるわ。で、誰から助けましょうか？爆発しないと分かったあなたは次に早くみんなを助けましょうって言い出すと思ったのだけれど、違った？そんなエスパーでも見るような目で私を見ないでよ。私は手早くことを進めたいだけなんだから。
私は。
で、誰から助けるの？あなたに決めさせてあげる。1、先生。2、あなたの親友。3、怪我人。どうして私に決めさせるの？
First sensei, second your best friend, third the wound.
簡単な心理テストのようなものよ。あなたが誰から助けるかであなたがどんな女の子なのかわかると思って。風見さんだったら誰から助けるの？質問に質問を返すのはバカだと思われるからやめなさい。それとそうやって回答を保留にするのも回答とみなすわよ。状況判断能力と決断力のない子だと思われてしまうけれど、それで構わない？まあいいわ。それじゃあ私が決める。まずは部長から助けましょう。どうして部長から？私。
嫌い、because I hear her.
さっきの質問の答えだけど、私は1でも2でも3でもなく4の嫌いな子から助けるわ。4ってずるくない？回答の数を3つに限定した覚えはないけれど、3つの中に正解がなかった時にどう答えるかもテストに含まれているのよ。意地悪クイズみたい。それにどうして嫌いな子から助けるの？だって12人もいるのよ。嫌いな子が最後に残ったら絶対に面倒くさいって思うに決まっているじゃない。それが理由？そう。嫌なことはさっさと終わらせたいのよ。私って夏休みの宿題を夏休みに入る前に済ませてしまうぐらいせっかちなの。わかるような、わからないような。わからなくてもいいからあなたもこっちに来て手伝いなさいな。ごめんなさい。
To be honest, I find it very difficult to understand her thoughts. But I understand that the word genius will probably create to describe this sort of person. There were 40 people riding on that bus, including the team's advisor. Eventually, 11 people emerged for its wreckage, together with one small dog that belonged to the team member. The remaining 3 were dead. Oh, so sad. 2 were killed instantly when the bus fell. The other is still conscious. Immediately after the accident, rolled herself into the board and mourned for 10 minutes before she died. Among the 11 survivors, 4 were wounded. 1 had broken both her legs. 1 had struck her head and suffered a laceration. 1 had received a gash of her abdomen for a shot or jab. And the one who had been our guardian, the teacher who had been our team advisor, were unconscious and saw no sign of waking, that, more than anything else, filled our hearts with gloom. None of us could get our minds around the situation we were in. Clutching our knees to our chests, we sat on the ground in a daze.
まずは怪我人の手当てをするべきだと私は思うけど、どうかしら。
But every silence was soon broken. Kazuki spoke in a perfectly normal tone of voice. When I raised my hand to respond to her firm words, I saw that she was addressing our group official leader, the team captain.
こんな状況だからこそ、しっかりしてください、先輩。
そうね。言われなくても分かってはいるのだけれど、こんな状況で私たちに何ができるというの？
反論しても？
どうぞ。
ただ待っていても助けが来る保証なんてどこにもないわ。あなたにこの場を仕切る能力がないのであれば、私が代わりますけど、どうしますか？
Later, the captain will ask her team members to rape this Kazuki-chan.
勝手なことを言わないで。もしあなたの判断ミスで現状が悪化したら、誰が責任を取ると思ってるの？
この後に及んでも責任の所在を気にする余裕はあるのね。
はあ？なんですって？よく聞こえないんだけど。
いいえ、別に何も。では、この場はお任せしても？
余計なお気遣いは結構よ。リツ、こっちにいらっしゃい。
あ、はい。なんでしょう。
あなた、ご実家はお医者様よね。
はい、そうですけど。
だったら応急処置ぐらいできるでしょ。すぐに取り掛かって。
そんな、無理ですよ。いくら実家が医者だからって、私にはそんな知識は。
それでも何も知らない素人よりはマシでしょ。ごちゃごちゃ言わないでやりなさい。
Grace runs her hands in front of her chest. I completely understood her feelings. Taking on the role of doctor simply because of her parents' obligations, the responsibility was far too grave. Yeah, the responsibility was far too grave. It wasn't as thought she had inherited their medical skills and superficial knowledge would not be enough in this situation. The team captain Sakashita Chiaki and Koide Ritsu, a girl who had always played the role of her devout underling. As a mere first year, I didn't know much about their relationship, but the fact was that I never seen Ritsu disobey an order from the captain.
リツ、同じことを何度も言わせないで。
はい。じゃあ、まずは広岡さんから。
何を言っているのよ。まずは先生からよ。
でも、広岡さんは両足を骨折して重傷ですし。
No, that leg will not recover anymore.
いいから、先に先生を見なさい。
はい。
Kazuki watched with the disdain eyes of a spectacle to an ugly facade as Ritsu swallowed her complaints. As our doctor walked away with saggy shoulders, Kazuki approaches Sakashita for the second time.
坂下部長、私に周囲の探索をする許可をいただけますか？
一人で勝手なことをしないで。どうしてあなたはいつもそうやって集団の輪を乱そうとするの？
スオさん、付き合っていただける？
ちょっと風見さん。
私一人でなければ良いのでしょ。これでも私は気を利かせているのよ。あなたは私がそばにいない方が威張り散らしやすいでしょうし。それじゃ行くわよ、スオさん。あ、待って。
As I chased away Kazami Kazuki, I saw the character's eyes expression out of the corner of my eyes. She was glaring at me, making no attempt to hide her displeasure. Her eyes asked, "Are you taking that woman's size?" In response, I offered a quick bow of my head. I didn't understand myself whether that gesture was an apology for siding with Kazuki or the slight attempt to convey I haven't betrayed you. Either way, some instinct inside me has just judged that following Kazami Kazuki was the correct decision. Although I had seen Kazuki for the first time at the entrance, ceremony, I had known her name for much longer. When we were grade schoolers, it was well known that an 8-year-old child had taken a special prize at the district painting contest. As the painting has been exhibited among the other children's work, that was her only award, but it might well have taken the overall prize otherwise. Our class took a trip to see her piece on display at District Assembly Hall. Even my immature eye for art, I could sense something inexpressible in words from that painting, something that noticeably moved my heart. And the mention of that work and the name of the genius who painted it were deeply etched into my mind. Kazami Kazuki. She was in fact really said that as a painter alone, she could do anything she tried, anything at all. Well, that might be a bit of an exaggeration, but on her first attempt, she could usually produce adequate result. If it was a field she found particularly difficult, it might take 3 days of her effort for her to reach average skill. Those were the rumors anyway. According to those who know her, she lives in a different world. One can't believe that she's a human being or she can see things normal people can't. At the times, I was astonished that anyone could inspire such stories, many of which were so overblown that they took a think of the occult. But when we entered the same school in the same year, even joined the same thing, the girl appeared perfectly normal, if a little standoffish. Even so, I could vaguely sense that her true nature was to somehow different from that of an ordinary person. To be honest, I had avoided her as a result. And now I was alone with her for the first time under these circumstances. Although I followed as instructor, I couldn't find anything to say to her, and she was equally silent. The two of us just trudged on, not exchanging a single word. The ground of field was stretched high and round, wall looms on both sides. When I looked at straight up, there was nothing but trees and sky, with scenes that fall into some odd fissure, a crack in the earth. The walls were maybe 10 meters tall at their lowest point, not so high as to rule out climbing, but on both sides the rock face slant inward as they rose up hang over us. With its pronounced as an overhang, climbing with bare hands seems impossible, and even with toes it would likely be difficult. Apparently, Kazami Kazuki has been taken along the same line. She came to a stop a little way ahead of me, planted her hand on one of the slender rocks, and to strike with a stone she had picked up off the ground.
それで何かわかるの？やっと口を開いたかと思えば、随分とどうでもいいようなことを口にするのね。他にもっと聞きたいことがあったのではなくて？他にって。そうね。どうやって登るの？とか、元の道には戻れない？とか、これからどうするの？とか、いろいろあるけど、一番聞きたいのは多分、どうして私に声をかけたの？じゃないかしら？だったらはっきりと答えてあげる。それはあなたが強く言われると断れないタイプだからよ。あなたの場合、一緒に来てくれないとお願いされたら悩むけど、来いと命令されたら悩まずに従うでしょ。どうしてそう思うの？さっきの心理テストの結果からそう思ったのだけれど、違った？
Yes, she was probably right. When my mother asked me what we would have for our snack today, I would answer, "What do you want, mommy?" When she simply told me we were having cakes today, I was relieved because I wouldn't have to choose. Given multiple choice, I would waver indecisively, and when given a single part, I would follow it obediently. That was just my personality.
余計なことを喋ると今度は何を読み取られるか分かったもんじゃないって顔してるわよ。私としてはあまり警戒しないでほしいのだけれど。
As she spoke, Kazumi Kazuki removed her cell phone from her pocket and looked into the screen.
あ、やっぱり県外ね。あなたのはどう？
I already pulled my phone out of my school uniform, but as expected, its screen was also displaying the words "not signal."
ダメみたい。私のも県外。でしょうね。
Kazumi turns out her phone immediately and slides it back into her pocket.
あなたも電源を切っておいた方がいいわよ。電波状況が良くないままだとびっくりするぐらいバッテリーの消耗が激しいから。
It wasn't as discouraging as I would expect to find our cell phones were useless. To tell the truth, I had checked mine soon after escaping the bus. Of course, the screen also displayed no signal then. Finding that was still the case prompted a little more than the feeling of resignation we expected as much. We were within a long tunnel light. Service, maybe if we were just kept following it, partially because of wishful thinking like that, I was instead of despair at our situation. Another factor was the strange sense of security that came from being near this girl named Kazami Kazuki, as I thought I found firmly ground to stand on. If I read this girl, it will work out somehow. Her strangely powerful presence let me think such irresponsible thoughts somewhere deep down.
状況はあまり芳しくないわね。
There was a heavy overgrown jungle visible in the direction Kazuki was pointed. There was a dense forest seemingly devoid of animal plant that seems to be absolutely refused human entry. The thick wall of vibrant greens almost seems pleasant as the glance, and yet it was obvious that a single step inside would find you in an environment far too harsh to support human life. Even if you were to advance by hiking through the thick grasses and bushes rising overhead, the distance you could advance in one day would be pretty limited. And in avoiding the tall trees that grew out close enough as if to block out the lights of them, you'd be quickly lost any guess of your own position anyway.
運が良ければ人の立ち入った痕跡のようなものを発見できるかと思ったのだけれど、これは期待するだけ無駄だったようね。
There's even one path of human travel, follow it and you'll find a place where human lives. But the jungle in front of us shows no sign of such intrusion. Even so, I had some hope that we might stand a chance by pushing our way boldly through the woods, but that thoughts were shattered by what Kazami Kazuki told me next.
これを見てごらんなさい。
She had on a compass we had used at the training camp for orienteering, one of our recreational activities. The needle that show had sought north was pointing to the northwest, and when she turned to face a different direction, it didn't move within the compass.
どういうこと？まあ簡単に言ってしまえば、針が動いていない、方位地震として機能していないということよ。そんな、どうして？おそらくはデビエーションね。周りの壁を見てごらんなさい。壁？
As I looked up in the confusion at the rock space looming above us, she picked up a stone lying at her feet and again struck the wall sharply. The sound produced was high-pitched clinching, like what you might expect from a hard metal surface.
岩壁の一部がガラス化しているわ。おそらく瞬間的な高温にさらされた状態から急激に冷やされてアモルファス化したのね。ごめん、専門的すぎて意味がわからない。火山の溶岩が冷えても似たような状況になるけど、あまりにも広範囲だし、かといってエアバーストにしては規模が小さすぎるし、多分隕石かな。隕石？隕石ってあの隕石？マイクロブラックホールが激突したって可能性はまずないでしょうし、おそらく小規模な隕石が地表に到達する前に爆発して、その飛散した破片の中でも大きめのものがこの周辺に落ちたんじゃないかしら。方位磁石が機能しないのもそれが原因？多分ね。飛散した破片に重鉱物が含まれていて、マスコンセントレーション的なスポットをいくつも発生させているんじゃないかしら。そう考えるとこの不自然な環境にも納得がいくのよね。あなたはどう思う？どうって言われても。
If Kazami Kazuki thought so, it was probably the truth. At the very least, I was about to come up with any other possibilities.
さてさて、周囲は草も生えない岩場。周りを囲む壁は構造的に這い上がるのは不可能。進める先は人を拒絶するような密林。携帯も通じないし、方位磁石すら機能しない。申し分のない遭難ね。面白くなってきたわ。面白くなってきたって。不謹慎に聞こえたのなら謝るわ。でも私の言葉から余裕が感じられた方が、あなたも余計な不安を感じないで済むかと思って。お気遣いは感謝するけど、他の子の前ではそういう言い回しは避けた方がいいと思う。そうね。
Although she nodded, I didn't feel that she was convinced by my words. Precisely because we were in such a bad situation, a confident leader who could pull out this sort of all-knowing God act would be an ideal. But she wasn't the leader of our group. By rank, our teacher was first, the team captain Saka Shita was second, and Vice President Okabe was third, or should have been. But unfortunately, Okami-senpai had died when the bus fell. Still, a first year Kazuki had very little say in the team's decisions.
坂下部長、私に命令権を譲ってくれないかしら。その方がいちいち愚信をする手間が省略できて効率がいいと思うのだけれど。ねえ、聞いてもいい？何かしら？坂下部長のことなんだけど、聞きにくいようなこと？そうじゃなくて、もしかして私が今から何を聞こうとしているか想像がついてる？は？何？突然。あなた、私のことを神様か何かだと勘違いしてない？ほら、さっき私に心理テストをしたでしょ。ああ、その話？つまり坂下部長が先生を一番最初に見なさいと言い出したから、心理テスト的にそれがどんな結果になったのか気になるのね。そう。言われなくてもあなたにもなんとなく分かっているでしょ。坂下部長は他者依存の強いタイプよ。いつも自分が中心にいないと気が済まないくせに、自分に責任がかかるような決断を迫られた時にはすぐに背後を振り返って助けを求める人。つまりここは私が指揮を取ります、それでよろしいですね先生って言いたいから、まずは先生。わかる？なるほど。別にそれが悪いとは言わないわよ。学生なんだし、むしろそれが当たり前よね。でも彼女の場合、おそらく学校から出てもあの調子なんでしょうね。家では父親を背後に立たせているんじゃないかしら。そういう子供っぽい優越がすごく鼻につくわ。ごめんなさい。くだらない話を聞かせてしまったわね。
As Kazami, Kazuki apologized for babbling. Her expression was a cheerful one appropriate for her age, but that bright smile was frightening under the circumstances. I felt sure of it. This person was attached to nothing. She grabbed hold of anything she thought she needed, and she cast aside anything that outlived its necessity. Maybe that was just another part of being a genius. As these thoughts ran through my head, Kazuki suddenly turned her back to me and mumbled a few words.
そうでもないわよ。
At every sentence, I felt a chill like cold fingers running down my spine.
何が？そろそろ戻りましょう。私たちだけで逃げ出したと思われても心外だし。
If you compare the human brain to an engine, Kazuki must be operating at a far higher RPM than ours. She was constantly maintaining a speed of rotation that would quickly cause a normal person to overheat. I looked down at Kazuki's feet as she walked a few paces ahead of me. She was wearing the standard white sneakers specified by our school. Since the girl cast a shadow and didn't appear to be floating, apparently she wasn't a ghost or any other supernatural apparition. 何がおかしいの？
ごめんなさい。あなたが今何を考えているのか想像したらおかしくって。でしょうね。気を悪くしないでね。一応言っておくけど、私は幽霊じゃないし、あなたの夢に出てきた神様でもないわよ。ああ、その発想はなかったわ。どの発想？あなたがお化けじゃないかとは思ったけど、逆に私が死にかけていて都合のいい夢を見ているとは考えもしなかった。私が言わなくても10分後には考えていたはずよ。変な子。そうね。1歳半の頃、母親にもそう言われたわ。覚えてるの？冗談よ。どこからが？どこからでも。お好きなところからどうぞ。
I was actually understanding her less the longer we talked. The one thing I didn't understand was that Kazami Kazuki jokes aren't funny in the slightest. I think this is the next day, or I don't know. I didn't realize the time just now.
一言で言えば絶望的な環境ね。
Having returned to the site of the accident, Kazuki and I explained the situation to Captain Sakashita, showing her the compass and its non-functional needle. She did a step from the rock she has been sitting on. When finished our story, she sighed deeply, leaned forward to take her head in the hands and answered with a brief "Wakarimashita." I understand.
それで怪我人の方は
The captain's only response was to sluggishly raise one hand and point in the direction she indicated. Koide Risu was examining the wounds while trying to hold her tears.
どうなの小出さん。
先生には大きな外傷もないし、軽い脳震盪だと思うから、しばらく横になっていれば意識が回復すると思う。広岡さんは左のすねと右の膝を骨折してる。飛び出してはいないけど、両方とも完全骨折。意識はしっかりしてるけど、だいぶ苦しんでるわ。
And later they suffer dehydration and also hungerness.
桜井さんは腹部裂傷。事故の拍子で何か尖ったもの。傷跡から想像すると多分割れた瓶だと思うけど、お腹に突き刺さったみたい。もう出血は止まり始めてる。
Sakurai, you are going to die soon.
金田さんは頭部裂傷。右目の上あたりの額を切ってる。多分何かにぶつけたんだと思う。もう出血は止まってるわ。
それで
それって
え、本当に見ただけ？治療はしていないの？
無理を言わないで。道具も何もないのに。道具があったところで私には無理よ。
折れていたら位置を合わせて固定するだけ。避けていたら縫い合わせるだけじゃない。
そんなのやったこともないのに無理よ。簡単だって言うならあなたがやってよ。
じゃあお湯を沸かしてくださる？キャンプの道具の中にガスコンロがあったでしょ。たくさんお湯を沸かして生食を作ってください。ついでに救急箱と釣り道具も発掘してきてくださるとありがたいですね。
はい、わかりました。
風見さん、骨折の治療とか経験があるの？
Ritsu, let me say you one word. Stupid. You are a stupid girl.
ないわ。本で読んだ知識があるだけ。あなたは？
ない。
まあ普通はないわよね。
大丈夫なの？
経験や自信のある人がいるなら変わるわよ。私だって後から来て人の仕事を奪った出しゃばりな女だと思われたら心外だもの。
Kazuki turned around quickly to face the depressed group of girls, raised her hand right hand and asked, "Does anyone have medical experience?" No one raised their hands to respond. No one even met Kazuki's eyes.
誰も経験がないのなら誰がやっても同じじゃない？それともこのまま怪我は自己責任ってことで放っておく？
それはさすがに。
私ね、できることはあったのにっていう後悔が一番悔しいと思うの。そんなわけだから一人ずつ見ていきましょうか。まずは頭部裂傷の金田さんから。
金田さんが嫌いだから？
ああ、金田さんが一番軽傷だからよ。軽傷の子を見ている間に重傷の子が死ねば無駄な診察をしないで済むでしょ。嫌だわ。なぜ黙るの？冗談を言ったのだから笑ってくれないと恥ずかしいじゃない。
笑えないし。ねえあなた、友達っているの？
そうね、今のところあなただけかしら。だからなぜ黙るの？
笑えばいいの？
そうね。そしたら私は泣くわ。
ごめん、会話の速度についていけない。
Following Kazuki's instructions, everyone with the physical energy and willpower to more cooperate and retrieve first aid kit, camping equipment, and fishing tackle from the overturned bus. Kazuki gathered the tools he thought would be useful, passed them to Koide Ritsu to be disinfected, and began examining the wound while waiting for the bottle to come to a boil. As promised, she looked at Kaneda Saya and her head laceration first.
どう？耳はちゃんと聞こえていますか？右と左で聞こえ方が違うとかは？
大丈夫みたい。
そう。じゃあ手を出して。まずは右手。
Kaneda's wound has already been disinfected, scarred, shattered, and covered with a roll of bandage. When Kazuki said she planned to use a fishing hook to stick out the cut, I couldn't have raised the doubts about whether such a procedure could be hygienic, but when she responded, well, I suppose we could try sticking it together with super glue. I'm sure that would make a pretty so I decided I should probably keep my mouth shut. After that, I did nothing but silently record Kazuki's words in the memo file we will use it as a makeshift medical record.
どう？痛い？
Kazuki took a firm grip on Kaneda's right hand and dug her nails firmly into her index finger.
痛いってば。
ごめんなさい。それじゃあ左手は？同じように痛みを感じる？
だから痛いってば。
It almost seems like Kazuki was enjoying watching Kaneda squirm in pain. A question leaked out of my mouth.
ねえ、さっきから何をしているの？彼女、頭を打ったみたいだから、感覚器官や神経で左右に差異がないか調べているのよ。傷口を縫っている時に気がついたのだけれど、彼女、左目がわずかに内斜視なのよ。右…気がつかなかった。
Oops, my bad. I hurried at the word estotropy to the record in the notebook.
あなた、お名前、なんておっしゃったかしら。
金田サーヤ。
さやちゃん。
ああ、そうそう。金田サーヤ。サーヤさんね。いい名前だわ。
そう思う？
ええ。もし私が犬を飼っていたら、そう名付けたいぐらいよ。
犬。
ごめんなさい。この人、冗談がきついから。あら、どうしてあなたが謝るの？それは、私があなたのお友達だからよ。あら、嬉しい。私、親友って初めてよ。
I didn't remember adding bets to the phrase, but leaving it unsaid was probably the smart move here. When I learned that much, so I must have been growing used to it. I guess the word friend I had spoken just now was entirely sarcastic.
今すぐあなたを抱きしめてキスをしたいところだけれど、今は金田さんの診察中だから、後でね。ごゆっくりどうぞ。どこまで見たかしら。ああ、そうそう。金田さん、あなた子供の頃に虐待を受けたことは
？Nani? I'm gonna end the episode here now, my friend. Thank you for watching my video. Just
セーブするわ。
don't take heart, brothers and sisters. That was fast. I didn't realize. Magic what time? Adios, famosa. It's still the first day.